Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Spanish Grand Prix. Now, it wasn't the best race I've ever seen, but it wasn't the worst either, to be honest. I think there was tension, certainly for the lead, up until near the end, and I think there was kind of good battles through the midfield as well, so I wouldn't rate it highly. I would say it's an averagely slightly good race, if that's how I could describe it. So let's dive into it anyway, and we'll start obviously with the front two, Hamilton and Verstappen, and these two are just in a class of their own at the minute, aren't they? Let's be honest, and they just seem to be able to pull something out of the bag that the other drivers can't seem to do at the minute, and that be in qualifying and in race pace. That the other drivers just can't seem to grasp at the minute. Admittedly, Perez, it's only his fourth race, but he's still a little bit off the pace, but we'll get into Perez in a bit. And let's focus on the battle between Hamilton and Verstappen to start with. So, obviously Verstappen gets an incredible start, pulls behind Hamilton to try and get the slipstream, but I think he was obviously too close at that point, so he pulls out, still manages to get the drive down into the first corner, and at that point it's up to Max to just run Lewis wide exactly like he did, and it's also then up to Hamilton to accept the fact he's lost the corner and to back out. And I was saying to the people in my party chat, I was saying that if it was Maldonado and Grosjean, there would have been a serious crash there going on there. But with the experience of Max and Lewis and their ability, it was just utterly perfect. And Lewis obviously lived to fight another day, and as you will obviously all know, went on to win the race. So it was a wise decision for him to back out at that point. But the first stint was incredible between those two, and I really thought that, because what we've seen in previous seasons, is that the Red Bull struggles in qualifying and has great race pace, whereas it seems to be the opposite this season, where the Red Bull has incredible qualifying pace, but seems to struggle a little bit compared to the Mercedes in the race. And yeah, we've not really seen that before, so it was interesting to see. And Hamilton was, I was saying to the people I was watching it with, I was saying that Hamilton would probably sit back, say 4 or 5 seconds back, just so he's out of the dirty air, and wait to see what kind of Verstappen's pace is. But no, we didn't get that. We got Hamilton right on Verstappen's gearbox from the outset, and was pushing, and it almost forced Red Bull into that stop at the start, to be honest. I think they probably made an earlier, in hindsight obviously, they made an earlier stop than they would have wanted to, but Mercedes pushed them into that with the pace of their car and the pace of Hamilton, and that really made for an excellent race, to be honest, I think. Obviously Hamilton stayed out, and it looked like Hamilton and the Mercedes team had made a mistake, to be honest, because I honestly believed, from what we'd seen in practice, that the medium tyre would be able to cope for, what was it? He pitted on lap 26, I think, didn't he? 26 or 27. So I thought it would be able to do the remainder of the race, having them being nearly halfway through it. We didn't actually see that, and it was like a repeat of Hungary 2019, I think it was. When we saw Hamilton and Verstappen, and Hamilton pitted, and no one could see Hamilton coming back because he was over 20 seconds behind. But obviously the fresh tyres are making up about 3 seconds a lap difference. So that's again what we saw today, and knowing that from what we saw in Hungary between the two, as soon as Mercedes made that second pit stop, it was pretty apparent that they were going to win. I was convinced that if the Mercedes and the Red Bull had come out, even though the Mercedes was quicker, I thought that Verstappen would have been able to hold on to that, to be honest. So that's what's brilliant about it, though. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I honestly thought that it was going to be a close race. I thought that Verstappen might be able to hold on, but there was just no chance when it came to it in the final stint. And Lewis obviously just breezed past him at the end. But what we did get to see again for the 4th race in a row this season, and there's only been 4 races, forget not, and is that we've got to see Lewis and Max go head to head or wheel to wheel in all 4 races. And although Lewis is coming out on top at the minute, it still looks like an incredibly close fight. And we know from previous that Red Bull are quite good at bringing a car to the end of the season. Whether or not that's because Mercedes just say, oh, we've won it, and give up on developing. We'll wait and have to see. But it's still looking like a very, very enticing season. And it also looks, I will just add one final thing into the Hamilton-Verstappen thing. It looks like we've changed hands now. It looks like the Red Bull is fastest on the fast tracks, and it looks like the Mercedes is fastest on the handling tracks, which, again, we've never seen before. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. But anyway, let's look at the second drivers for Mercedes and Red Bull. Bottas, again, kind of doing a Bottas performance, really, to be honest. I mean, he obviously got stuck behind the incredible Charles Leclerc, who we'll get on to in a minute. But yeah, there's never any spark from Bottas. Has anyone ever seen Valtteri Bottas's best overtakes? Because they can't be in Formula 1. They must be in lower series or something like that, because I've never seen it. And I will him on every single week, but he just doesn't seem to have... I mean, just send it sometimes, Valtteri. Just send it. See what happens. Like, if you crash, you haven't sent it for 4 years, so just fucking send one, see what happens. You might overtake someone, and then you might get a bit of confidence, but who knows, to be honest. I mean, I can't say anything. I've never driven a Formula 1 car, but that's what it seems to me, that Max and Lewis are able to do that, and Valtteri obviously isn't. And let's move on to Perez then. A bit of a shocking weekend again. Well, I say shocking. A bit of a bad weekend for Perez. Obviously, the qualifying wasn't great for him, and he struggled in the race. And that's probably because it's such a hard track to overtake around. He ended up finishing in 5th, which you can't really complain about. What they would have wanted him to finish is 4th or 3rd. So he's not too far away from that. It's not like he finished outside the top 10 or anything like that. But it was the qualifying performance that hampered him on the Sunday. So, excuse me, been talking too much. So we'll have to wait and see with Perez, and I genuinely believe that he's got more pace than Albon and Gasly had compared to Verstappen. It's just whether he can actually nail a race together, because he can actually, he's proved he can nail a lap together, but it's about the race pace. And Sergio is normally one for good race pace, so I think once he gets to grips with that car, he will find a way to build in some race pace. And we're looking for the tyre saving, aren't we, with Sergio Perez? He loves to save tyres, so I think he's going to be a great number 2 this year, and maybe even a potential number 1 next year. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Anyway, sorry about that. I got slightly interrupted there, but anyway, I can't remember exactly what I was saying at the time. But anyway, Perez potential, a bit slow at the minute. Bottas had potential, getting slower. So let's move on to Charles Leclerc. What a phenomenal driver Charles Leclerc is. I don't understand how. I mean, the Ferrari is definitely a better car this season. Let's not doubt that at all. It's definitely a better car. But Charles Leclerc, being able to keep Bottas behind for so long in a Mercedes that's a second a lap faster is just incredible. And I can't say enough about Charles Leclerc. I mean, he is just an absolutely phenomenal driver. No. Anyway, you're gonna have to put up with that. Anyway, Anyway, let's get back to the video. Ricciardo versus Norris. Now, this is turning out to be quite a juicy battle. McLaren weren't very good this weekend compared to how we have seen them for the first part of the season. But Ricciardo obviously put in a very good performance here, and I think they finished. Ricciardo finished 6th, which is where he qualified, and I think Norris finished 8th or 9th, which is basically where he qualified as well. So, interesting one for McLaren. They had a very boring weekend. I don't remember seeing much of them on the TV screens, apart from when I think it was behind them. But yeah, interesting one for McLaren, and we'll have to wait and see. Now, the midfield battle very strange. I don't really know. I mean, the Alpines in the hands of Ocon seem to be good, which I wouldn't have predicted at the start of the season. I thought Alonso would at least be competing with Ocon, but it seems to be a little bit off the pace of Ocon at the minute, and he's doing a fantastic job. So we'll have to wait and see with them, and Alfa Romeo as well. Looking really good all weekend until it came to qualifying in the race, to be honest. So yeah, not really sure what happened there. Obviously, Kimi Räikkönen had a shocker last week. I'm not really, or last time, yeah, it was last week, last time out. When he crashed into the back of his teammate, that seemed like a very unusual mistake for Kimi, to be honest. But it happened, so we'll put it behind him. And but yeah, the Alphas seemed really quick all weekend until it came to crunch time, as I'd say. And then they sort of fell off the pace and weren't really anywhere, to be honest, during the race. And yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. I think, yeah, I didn't see much from the midfield, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to rewatch it on Channel 4 later, which I can't wait to do because I love David Coulthard and the new what's his name, Alex something. Can't remember the new commentator's name, but I've been listening to it for years. Anyway. But no, he's a brilliant commentator, and I love that combination. So I'll be watching the highlights again, and I would have more insight then, but I'd rather get a video out now when I've got a little bit of passion about it. So yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Sorry it's been so long, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.